There were Nazi Ukrainian police. So two of these guys came and lifted up that basin, and he shot my cousin Goldig right there on the spot. I was born in Ukraine in 1939 when the war started. It was a part of Poland. There was a pact done between the Russians and the Germans, and they both decided to attack from both sides. The Russians took that whole province where we lived. The Germans took the rest of Poland. When the Russians came into our place, they immediately took all the rich Jews and they sent them away. In fact, I lost my uncle who had a big business. He was the first one to be arrested, and he died when I was 6 years old. The KGB and the police that came in one day to our house and said that we have to leave our house, leave our town, and live in another small town, which we did. We had no choice. My father was very mad. He says, "Why are you doing that? I'm not rich. I have a little business here for my family, no more." And they didn't want to know for nothing. I have the documents here. You gotta go. A year and a half later, two KGB knocked on the door, and my father was Baruch. "Are you Baruch Goldig?" "Yes, you have to follow us to the police station." So we knew what that meant. My mother cried, and I cried. They didn't even let us go with him to the police station. So we thought we'd never see him again. So they sat him down in a chair, an interrogation, and they said, "Did you send a letter to Stalin?" My father couldn't deny it because he signed it and everything. He said, "Yes." "Well, we have checked your file and we made a mistake, and you can return and go back to your city." And it was great news. We went back to the other city where I was born. And when we came there, some Russian officers took over our house because when we left, there was nobody there. A few months later, that whole contract that I made between the Russia and Germany, that was torn up. The Russians left. During the time, there was no authority. The Jewish community found out that at the end of the town, a whole bunch of young guys with axes ready to come in, kill the Jews, and take their possessions. My father was running around seeing our neighbors, and then what are we going to do? What can we do? Maybe we should go hide, and What happened next was that an Ukrainian priest found out what was going on, and he went to meet them, and he says, "What are you doing? You know that this is a sin, and God will punish you for everything that you're doing now." And he spoke to them for quite some time, and they actually disbanded and went home. A few days later, the Germans came in, and we went to the ghetto. The ghetto, as I said, was not very big. My parents and I, by chance, got one room in an apartment. The worst part. You see, the Germans would choose a certain day, usually a Jewish holiday, and anybody they could find was taken to the cemetery, and there they were all shut down. It became that if you didn't hide, you would be dead. On Pesach, they killed my grandmother, my grandfather, 3 cousins. In our apartment building, there was an engineer, and he made something special for hiding. Outside the building, there was like a toilet that was there. What he did is this. He opened up the door. There was a wooden panel. He took out that wooden panel, and he got all the guys to dig down in that spot. And anytime we heard, that's where we were hiding. So everybody was running around in the ghetto, not knowing where to hide. The Germans found out that there is a breach. My mother looked down, and she saw the street was full of dead people. And she said, no, let's go. We'll find a place to hide. And so we went back into the ghetto. We were walking around trying to find a place. We saw in the back of another apartment, there was a shed. My aunt and my cousin went on the right-hand side. They found these 2 washing basins, and my aunt took my cousin, turned it over, and they crouched on the floor. My mother and I went on the left side of the cabana. There we found 2 mattresses. My mother pushed me underneath, and she covered me, and she went to the other one, and then my mother saying, "Shh." I can remember that. Still, which means quiet. And we were lying there. About approximately 2 hours, maybe more. There were Nazi Ukrainian police. So 2 of these guys came into where we were. First, where my aunt and my cousin. We were very close. I was 9, he was 8. So he went with his rifle, and he went underneath like this, and he lifted up that basin, and he shot my cousin Goldig right there on the spot. He lifted up the other basin, saw my aunt, shot her right there, younger sister. Then they came into our side. He lifted this corner. I was lying diagonal, and he didn't see me. And he turned around to the other guy. There is nobody else here. Let's get the hell out of here. And they left. So, my dear friends, that was about the nearest I came to dying.